Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Golden Win Geekout. I'm your host, Danny. Got my cohort, Ryan, with me.
Hi.
Yep, and we are here to talk about episode 17, Babyface. So, I guess maybe before we even talk about the episode itself, we've got to address the big elephant in the room. I mean, we warned you guys, that, this was going into very creepy, uncomfortable territory to the point where I would actually say trigger warning here. And, one of the biggest things I know Ryan and I were really concerned about was how is David Production going to be able to handle what exactly was happening. I mean, you anime-only watchers, I mean, we warned you guys that you're not ready for what the hell you were about to witness. I mean, even like our buddy young author Adam even mentioned this on Twitter. He's like, so I know some beats of JoJo, but I am for the most part only familiar with the anime. So listening to Danny and Ryan, I was like, psh, Babyface can't be that bad. And today I just went, wait, it does what? So
Babyface
yeah.
can't be that bad, they said. They thought we were crazy. Well, look who's crazy now.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing is I don't know how else we could have possibly had warned or prepared you for Malone and his stand Babyface. I mean, it's like his stand impregnates women and forces them to give birth to some homunculus rape baby killer thing. It's like, there's no way you can prepare for that. I'm sorry, there really isn't.
Yeah, especially for you anime only fans or whatever. It's like, yeah, there was no way you would probably have expected this or even prepared for this, unless if you were one of the very few people, unless you're one of the many people that actually listened to all of our warnings near the end of the last Geek Out. Because, no, seriously, while thank God that David Productions actually handled the whole situation with Babyface exactly like how it was in the manga, nothing obscure or fucked up or anything happened. It was like it was like 100% censored. It's not bad, but the implication alone, it's still, again, just like what Danny was saying, it is creepy and messed up as hell.
Yeah, and it really is Malone that really makes this creepy. Because, I mean, it's like, yeah, the woman slaps him in the face, he licks her palm. He pulls up his computer and basically he's basically asking her, so how do you like to kiss before you have sex? It's like, it's very uncomfortable. It's very creepy. And it's like, again, let's think back to the La Squadra backstory. Because if you remember, there was that brief little moment where, we saw where, the guy that they were killing with the roofie car, where his wife or girlfriend or whatever was walking out of the restaurant, and you see Malone, he just starts licking his lips. Like, I remembered people were like, oh, the guy's got a foot fetish, it's creepy. And it's like, oh, you guys had no idea what that intention really was. He was not licking his lips or anything because, ooh, pretty feet. Because as we saw with the woman, he could just tell by, he could tell by, the woman from how she slapped him, and he could probably have told from how that woman was walking in the heels. Yeah, he's looking at her like, oh, she's primed for my stand. She'd make a great mom. That's creepy. Like, the foot fetish thing's, kind of creepy. But that's a whole nother level, and that's what was really going on. So
it's like no. Okay, this is all right. This guy is not Kira. When he only has just the fetish for like hands, or in this case feet. In this case, oh no, this is on a completely different level.
Oh yeah, that's like easily, like, I can safely say that pretty much after the Babyface fight, like, there's always going to be cracked out situations and cracked out stands and shit, but as far as any like stand battles that legitimately make you feel uncomfortable like this, there is no other stand battle like this where like the setup is like incredibly creepy. Like the closest that we get to it is a part in Steel Ball Run, but even then it's not really a setup for a fight. So, but that's a whole nother argument in and of itself, and I'm not gonna talk about Steel Ball Run here. But that's where it's like, I've got to give Araki credit for how he decided to approach this. Because it's like, as like, I'll be brutally honest. Like, even though, yes, this was very creepy. I mean, hands down, it was meant to be creepy, and, Araki and David Productions succeeded in, making this very creepy. But that being said, though, I'm not the kind of person who really feels like, you should not be allowed to, approach like, questionable subject matter, stuff that would make you feel uncomfortable. Like, I know there's people that, they don't want to see like, anything graphic, any like rape scenes or whatever in any media. I have to respectfully disagree here. It's like, if the author or whatever does wish to want to tackle that kind of subject matter, they should be allowed to do so. But all I ask is they know what the fuck they're doing with it. Because far too often, so many try to, like, they try to, like, throw rape into a story or even just implications of it and go about it so wrong that that's when people take issue with it. But I have to give credit to Araki and David Production here, because the way that Araki approached it and the way David Production clearly adapted it, by not really showing anything graphic, it kind of gives the impression of like almost like something you would expect maybe out of like a horror movie. And really, Araki's roots really come from horror. I mean, look back at Phantom Blood. That had a lot of horror elements to it. So it's like, if you absolutely feel that you have to, bring up, like, rape or anything like that. Like, Araki's like, okay, I want to tackle this. This is the setup, but how can I approach this without it coming off, like, really exploitative or sleazy, like, that kind of a thing. But I think that by choosing to approach this more like for what it is, an act of horror, and treating it like, horror cinema, I thought it was a very creative way to, showcase, like, to get the idea across, but without going into that exploitative territory. So I gotta give Araki credit for that, and thank you, David Production, for sticking to it and not, going to embellish on it, considering how much they've embellished on many other aspects in Part 5. This one they chose, not to do so. Like, less is more here. So, thank you guys.
Yeah, really, because it's like from like ever since like exactly 1 week ago up until now, like I tried not to think about it too much, but I was rather nervous on how everything with the whole setup was gonna be played out. But just like what we just established, is like, considering how David Productions handle it, it's like, okay, it was more so like a sigh of relief than anything. So yes, no, thank you, David Productions, for sticking to how Araki handled the initial manga, because my God, I don't know, I think feelings would be in disarray if it was done any other way. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm trying to think, is there anything else that you feel you need to add, Ryan? Like, at least regarding, like, the subject matter within the first 3 minutes before we actually, dive into the episode itself?
Well, I know we were making, the Kira comparisons, when some people would have think, he would have, like some kind of a fetish, because similar to how Kira had some kind of a fetish with women hands. I also noticed that he may or may not have a little bit of Kakyoin in him. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Oh, with the licking and shit.
I'm sorry, with the licking of the wrist. It's like, I'm sorry. It's just like, regardless if it was intentional or not, that was totally a Kakyoin right there. A yellow temperance Kakyoin right there. With the
Yeah, I would say I'd say that's I would say that's a yellow temperance Kakyoin and not real Kakyoin. Like,
No.
real Kakyoin was real Kakyoin with the cherry, that was just fucking funny. But
that
yellow
was just
temperance was... Yeah, yellow temperance Kakyoin, that was deliberately meant to be creepy.
Yeah, that was definitely meant to be creepy.
Yeah, so it's like, that's actually a pretty good comparison to that, for that bit.
Yeah, really. But I mean, yeah, other than that, I think we pretty much covered what we need to cover for, like, just the setup for the babyface reveal alone. Oh, ow.
Oh, God!
Oh, you sick bastard! What the fuck? Okay.
Ah! You're a creep! Go away! We were all having a good time before you came along! Go have some coffee with cream or something!
Because I'll tell you something, mister! This is a happy place!
That's like so oddly appropriate.
Okay, lady, you should run. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you know what's good for you, you should get out of there right now, okay? Wait, why even bother offering her money or anything? It's not like he's holding you like a gunpoint or anything. Just fucking get out of there. Or kick his ass even more!
Oh god, that's right! Oh god, this is so creepy. It's like, yo!
What the fuck?
It's like, yo!
Ugh.
This is where you're like, oh, where is this going?
Okay, alright, lady, get out of there!
Whoa!
Oh no.
Oh. I forgot that thing had legs.
Oh god! Oh, wait.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, oh wow, okay, so I mean, literally... Okay, so yeah, I mean, that's what happened in the manga. They decided to not embellish on it.
Okay.
Thank you, David Production.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, really, thank you.
So yeah, so I mean, pretty much the worst of it was literally within the first 3 minutes. I mean, it was over when we got to the opening credits. So, I mean, it's like, as brief as it was still very, very uncomfortable to sit through, even knowing what was happening. It was like, ah, man. But yeah, as for the episode itself, this is another beat for beat one, so not a whole lot was really added or anything, so much as just now we're seeing shit actually being animated here. And, I gotta say, I really like, I know this was in the manga, but, it's another thing to see it animated. When you're seeing, how Babyface attacks by, literally dissolving people into particles and shit, it's like, yeah, they were it's like, yeah, Tron. I mean, it's like, bottom line, I mean, it's like, again, yes, this was how it was in the manga too, but seeing it animated, seeing the grids pop up and literally exploding into, cubes and shit, it's like, yeah, this Tron.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other comparison.
Yeah, really. It's like I know it's like technically they're kind of like I guess in a way kind of slicing up human victims, only for them to be morphed into other objects or whatever. But it's like, yeah, okay, no. It's like the way they handle that. It's like, okay, no. That's just merely chopping people up into little pieces. No, these guys are being freaking digitized.
Yeah, really. So yeah, so it's like, we get the Tron bits and shit, and actually, probably the one thing I was really surprised with how much of the fight we actually got to see in this episode.
Yeah,
I mean, not for nothing, even in the manga, the babyface fight, it's not a long fight, which is good. I mean, we just came from a massive fight that a practically 2-volume fight, and we need that little bit of a breather. We need a shorter fight, and yeah, Babyface is ridiculously short. I mean, it's probably, I think out of La Squadra, I think it is the shortest fight. And I mean, it's like they went through a lot in this episode. So it's like, we saw it was like we saw the beginning of the fight. We see it was attacking Jarno, but then we see that, Jarno got the idea of, okay, I'm going to treat the opposite. Like, you disintegrate and take people apart, okay, you just gave me an idea. I'll just, give life to objects to put people back together. So pretty much from this fight onwards, yeah, Jarno, pretty much like with Joe's game part 4, Jarno becomes the healer. And this is the fight that truly establishes it. So, it's like, yeah, man, we went through a lot of that. It's like we got the healing ability in, he's already getting the upper hand on Babyface. So, I mean, it's like easily, probably within easily first half of next episode and Babyface is done. We'll be moving on into the next fight easily next week.
Yeah. No doubt. There's no way. I mean, unless a different Productions pulls a fast one and decides to throw in some, I don't know, some out of the blue exclusive content for whatever reason. But let's see. I mean, considering that we're jumping from Babyface to White Album, shortly after, that's really stretching it. That is a very huge assumption on my part.
Well, this is actually something I'm very curious about. So, you guys might remember that, in the one episode that I had to do solo, because, Weather Report took Ryan hostage, there was, that was when we got Mrs. Backstory. I had mentioned we only got half of Mrs. Backstory. I'm real curious if we're going to get the other half next week. Because in the manga, it was after the Babyface fight was when we got Mrs. Backstory in its entirety. So I'm real curious that if there is going to be added anime content for next week, that might be it. It might be, really showing the second half of Mrs. Backstory. Because you got to remember, we saw that, okay, he lived a simple life. Everything was all fine and dandy. We saw how he saved that woman from, being gang raped. And he, kills 3 guys with firing 4 shots into their heads.
Yeah.
And that was where the backstory left off. There's more to it. They didn't show just how exactly did Mista get pulled into Passione specifically. So that's where I'm thinking, if there's going to be anime exclusive content next week, we might be seeing, the rest of Mrs. Backstory, or at least I hope we do, because, it's kind of insulting to showcase everybody's backstory in their entirety, but Mista gets, cheapened out, because that's not fair to that guy.
Oh yeah, it's considering where this episode ended, already really, really close to the ending of the entirety of the fight. It honestly would make sense if David Productions went out of the way to finish up the remainder of Mista's backstory, because it's okay, if they didn't include Mista's backstory, then we would literally have I don't know, I'm gonna assume maybe 3 minutes of the rest of the Babyface fight or some crap like that. And then from there, It's okay, we'll just go ahead and breeze right into the White Album fight, which is that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, okay, from the standpoint of the perspective of an editor, it's you get so much of one fight done, but then you just leave off just the very little chunk of it at the end when it's okay, come on. At that point, it's you might as well go ahead and finish, just cover the entire part within one episode. So the fact that, very little of the Babyface fight is left in the dust, until next week, it's it would make so much sense if they actually did, go so far as to add the remainder of Mista's backstory for the sake of, adding enough content for another episode, instead of making it really awkward to cut, in between other Passione fights.
Right. Yeah, so, how about this? If for whatever reason we don't get Mista's backstory animated next week, how about we'll just say, fuck it, we'll just go on and explain the rest of Mista's backstory, to the anime only watchers. I mean, it's like, how's that sound?
Hey, that sounds good to me.
Look at you all, see the love bird that's sleeping on my guitar, gently reads.
Yeah, okay, so I think now we can go back to predicting stand name changes. So as we mentioned, the next stand fight is Gyacho, and his stand is named White Album, which is the name of a Beatles record.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, what do you think they're gonna change White Album into?
Okay, White Album. Okay, I'm thinking blank CD.
Okay. I think it's like, yeah, see, I'm thinking it's gonna be another, it's like, we're gonna take one of them and it's like either we're gonna get a synonym or we'll just flat out change something. Because you gotta remember, White Album's ability, it's ice powered. This is basically what is it? This is Pet Shop 2.0. But, Pet Shop
Right.
actually far more, Gyacho's far more badass than fucking Pet Shop. But, that's pretty much, yeah, the next fight, it's a big ice fight. So, maybe they want to try and bring ice into the name. So
Ice Album, maybe.
Ice Album, White Ice, something like that. Like, that's kind of where I'm thinking is like, they'll find a way to get ice into the name because it's like, cause not for nothing, it's like, yeah, White Album doesn't exactly tell you anything, about the stand. So, that's kind of where I'm thinking they're going with it. So yeah, I'm leaning neither towards, like White Ice or Ice Album. That's what I'm thinking.
I can see I agree. As another alternative option or whatever, I can see David Productions, making the game more relatable to the stand user's ability or whatever, and add ice in the name. So yeah, I can see Ice Album, but because for this, just like how David Productions have handled other stand names in the past, and how they just pick slightly different words to correlate with the original name. For the most part, I'm still gonna stick with blank CD.
Okay. Alrighty then. So then I guess at this point, is there anything else that we need to bring up?
I think that's pretty much it, really. For
Yeah.
for a very short beat for beat fight, it's like, even though we haven't covered the entirety of the babyface fight, sadly there wasn't really much to cover, really.
Right. Yeah, so I mean that's like I said, like easily next week, like within the first half, babyface, this fight will be over, and and it's like, Malone will get what is coming to him.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, oh shit! I actually just remembered something.
Oh, what?
Okay, so Ryan, I know we pointed this out and everything. So what was with the censoring of Giorno's foot?
Oh my god! You know what? I am so glad you remember that, because I completely forgot. Yeah, really? What the hell?
Yeah, because
what was up with the Black Shadow Jotaro smoking cigarette bullshit?
Yeah, because it's like, because again, I'm rewatching, because as we're talking, I'm rewatching this episode, and I just got to that part where it's like, well, that's right, we saw, what happened with Giorno's foot, and it's like, I do not understand why they felt the need to cover up, to censor out that little bit where you were seeing, pieces of, Giorno's foot and everything, considering all the shit that they got away with showing, earlier on in episodes. I mean, we saw, what was it, Sorbet, I think it was? We saw Sorbet's innards during the La Squadra flashback. but we can't.
Yeah,
but
that's
Giorno's
right.
foot crosses the line.
Oh no,
I don't get it. I do not get. I don't get it. Why the need to censor that part now?
That's like what? It's like did they decide to air episodes of Vento Rayo, like 2 hours earlier, like before? Because it's like, if memory serves, in Japan, it's like the reason why a bunch of stuff would be uncensored or not nearly as censored like in previous parts was because they're like, okay, look. If we want to show the really gory, interesting parts that make these episodes or this part of JoJo stand out, we need to premiere these episodes like, say, 1 a.m. like in Japan.
Yeah,
they
put it at a much later time so that they can get away with being able to showcase, in its entirety.
So it's like, what does that mean? They're like, okay, all right, the good stuff is out of the way, I guess. So let's just move it back like 2 hours. And now we're back to this.
I don't know. Just consistency. That's all I'm asking for at this point is consistency.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, if they are seriously going to go back to this Black Shadow blurry sensory BS, like how it was previously in other JoJo parts, then I'm gonna be rather disappointed, really.
It's like, I know, that's where it's like, and we're still not at like the most like nauseating gory part, of part 5. We're still a long ways away from that. So that's where it's like, no. You're giving me hope on that when we get to that fight. Don't you dare make me question.
I mean, seriously, they pretty much already, like, crossed that line, like, multiple times in previous episodes. What's the holdup now?
Right.
I don't get it. Oh, man.
I know, I don't get it either.
Look,
and it's like, I was just gonna say, like, can we also, I guess, maybe just gush out about, like, the choice of, color palette? When they decided to switch out the colors and everything, and it's like, you had to make Giorno orange here. You had to tap into the Dio. You had to do it now.
You pointed that out. I wasn't even paying attention, but when we were both watching the episode, I remember you pointing that out, and I'm just like, oh, he has a similar color palette to Dio, isn't he? Well, like father, like son.
Exactly. It's like Stardust Crusaders Dio right here. It's like, yep. Yeah, that's right.
It's like,
you might have forgotten about that, but this is Dio's bastard seed we're talking about here.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah, because, not for nothing, it's like, Giorno, I love you and all, but it's like, that is something we tend to forget. It's like, because they don't draw too much attention to it, that it's like, oh, that's right. This is Dio's kid we're talking about here. So it's like, I guess it makes sense to bring about the color scheme.
Oh yeah, it's just a little friendly reminder that, yeah, this is Dio's bastard son, but we don't really talk about Dio all that much in this part because he's a goddamn bastard.
Right.
I love him,
it's like,
but in reality, he's a goddamn bastard.
Oh, no, I'm not saying otherwise.
But
I mean, it's like, I guess maybe it's irony or something, because it's like, okay, they did the color scheme, they swapped the palettes and everything when Giorno becomes the healer, and now he's being all heroic and shit, and it's like, oh, look at that, it's the opposite of Daddy. Or maybe I'm just overlooking shit, I don't know.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, like, maybe I'm looking a little too much into this shit, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw this in, like, at the very end. I'm still waiting for the one color swap palette that we're all just used to at this point. I want to see Anime Giorno in the dark blue suit just once! That's all I ask for. And just you watch. They're gonna save that for like the final battle or something. Like the final color palette swap. And it's gonna be Giorno in the dark blue suit.
I was
watch.
just about to say that. It's like, oh man, yeah. God damn it. That would be, something tells me that would be something they would do as like legitimately, like seriously. That would be something they would do. They would save like the more iconic attire near the end.
Yeah, so it's like, just watch, it's like, if that's indeed what happens, just say, for the record, we are calling it. I'm sure many other people called it before us, but still, at least as far as our series go, we're calling it here.
Oh God. Yeah.
Alright, Lan, so, I cannot think of anything else to talk about.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I think now we've covered everything.
Alrighty then, so, yeah, hope you guys got through those first 3 minutes okay, and were able to enjoy the rest of the episode. And, rest assured, Malone will get his just desserts in the next episode. All I'm just gonna say is, Snake Eater.
Snake Eater!
So you will see what I mean when we get to it. But trust me, when you see it, yeah, that's what you're gonna be hearing in your head. You're gonna be hearing the Snake Eater song.
Oh God damn it!
So Snake Eater next week, White Album next week. So yeah, we got a lot of good shit coming next week.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, because White Album is another big fan favorite fight, and so this is one I know a lot of people are looking forward to.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so with that said, everyone, hope you're all enjoying, and we will see you next week.
All right, have a good night, everybody. See you guys next week. Arrivederci.